Script is complete at 896 words. Full narration text. In 2004, Maura Murray, a 21-year-old nursing student, crashed her car into a snowbank on Route 112 in Haverhill, New Hampshire, and then vanished from that exact spot on a straight open road with a witness nearby and police arriving within minutes, and an exhaustive search of the surrounding woods, water, and 30 miles of trail turning up nothing. Not a footprint, not a fiber, not a body. And that is the problem. Maura was a UMass Amherst student, well-liked, disciplined, training to become a nurse, with no history of running from problems. On the afternoon of February 9th, she left campus abruptly, mid-semester, without telling her roommate where she was going. She emailed her professors claiming a death in the family. It wasn't true. She packed a bag with clothes for several days, printed directions toward Burlington, Vermont, and withdrew close to $300 in cash from an ATM on her way out of town. She called her boyfriend from the road and told him she was fine. Nothing about her voice suggested otherwise. No distress, no goodbye. By early evening, she was alone on a rural highway 90 minutes north of campus, in a place she had no documented reason to be, driving away from everyone who knew her. At 7:27 p.m., a local bus driver saw her car spin out and strike a snowbank, facing the wrong direction. Within 3 minutes, a nearby resident, Butch Atwood, walked over and offered to call for help. Maura told him she already had. He went home anyway and dialed the police himself just after 7:30. Officer Cecil Smith arrived by 7:46, under 12 minutes after the crash. The car sat empty, headlights off, doors unlocked. Keys still in the ignition. Maura Murray was gone, on a cold, exposed stretch of road, with nowhere she could have walked out of sight that fast. Search teams arrived within hours. State police, K-9 units, and volunteers combed the wooded ravines on both sides of Route 112 through the night and into the following week. Cadaver dogs worked the area for weeks, alerting near a culvert and a stretch of riverbank, but nothing was ever recovered there. Divers searched the wild Ammonoosuc River and nearby ponds. 2 ponds were later drained completely, down to the mud. Search parties expanded to 30 miles of trail and forest, using thermal imaging and grid searches across multiple seasons. Someone found an unrelated class ring years later, buried nowhere near the case. They found nothing that belonged to Maura, no clothing, no shoe, no strand of hair snagged on brush, no remains. 20 years of organized searching has produced a single, unbroken absence. The leading theory for years was simple. Maura staged her own disappearance. The fabricated excuse to her professors, the packed bag, the cash, the printed directions, all of it reads like a woman planning to walk away from her life on purpose. She'd recently been in a minor car accident and was anxious about consequences. Investigators reasoned she panicked after the crash on Route 112, ashamed of a second wreck in 1 week, and simply kept walking into the tree line, planning to resurface somewhere new on her own terms. But that theory runs straight into the terrain and the clock. Route 112 near Woodsville sits in a narrow valley, thick woods on one side, the frozen wild Ammonoosuc River on the other, temperatures near freezing, no moon cover, and snow already on the ground. A woman on foot in dress shoes, in the dark with only minutes to spare, had almost nowhere to go that wasn't open road or a hard scramble down an icy riverbank. Officer Smith's drive from the police station took under 10 minutes, on the only road in or out. He saw no one walking in either direction. Butch Atwood, standing outside his house the entire time, watching that same stretch of road, saw no one either, not a car passing, not a figure on the shoulder. The search dogs brought in that same night picked up Maura's scent at the driver's door of the car and followed it a short distance down the shoulder of the road before it simply stopped. Not faded gradually, the way a scent trail normally weakens with distance and time. Stopped abruptly, as if she had lifted straight off the pavement. That is the detail investigators keep returning to. A train-scent dog does not lose a trail gradually in open, cold air with no rain to wash it away. It stops because the trail ends, because a person got into a vehicle or was carried or never continued walking at all past that point. There was no vehicle reported stopping there in the minutes after the crash. No engine heard. No headlights seen by the one neighbor watching the road. Maura Murray's last confirmed footsteps exist for perhaps 100 yards, and then the evidence simply refuses to continue. Today, the case remains open with New Hampshire State Police, unsolved after more than 2 decades, thousands of tips, private investigators, television specials, and repeated searches of the same ravines and riverbanks. No credible sighting has ever been confirmed. No remains have ever surfaced. If Maura Murray never walked out of that valley, where did the trail actually go?